record on this. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Two Marks and a Spark, the most disjointed version of this show yet, and that will be an accomplishment. With me
Sure.
today is a year older, demented old circus monkey, Uncle Russ.
Good evening.
Man, if we thought wrestling was disjointed this week, me and you tonight may top that.
Well, we're running a little behind schedule, but that's all right. We'll catch up.
So let's just go over some news this week. Obviously, we can't do this show without talking about Iron Sheik.
Correct. May he rest in peace.
Just one of the best heels ever, I think.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
Yes.
Just, and it was really a weird week, right? Because we had Raw, and then, you know, we'd kind of heard, oh, Sheik is in bad health. We heard that, what, Tuesday?
Right. I think Wednesday was the day that they announced that he had passed away.
Right. But we didn't hear he was in bad health until Tuesday.
Right.
And he passed away on Tuesday. So it was just one quick.
Very quick. Yep.
And it was over. And it shocked me because, like, he's active as could be on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying some of the crazy shit you've ever seen.
Well, nobody will ever come up with some of the lines he came up with. He had some great ones, you know.
And it baffled me. I was just like, wait a second, no way. Because he was tweeting the day before.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like his mind was pretty active then, right up until his body gave out.
I mean, there were some people online saying he wasn't actually writing the tweets, but like, I still want to believe it was him.
How would they know?
I still want to believe it was him sitting on his phone, just writing about how much he hates Hulk Hogan and calling Tom Brady,
calling you jabroni, telling you he's gonna fuck you in the ass and make you humble.
I'll never forget.
Yeah, it was
the thing
funny.
he did on Howard Stern.
Oh, yeah.
And they never had him back on there, and I can certainly
that was a bit of a train wreck. But what a performer, what an entertainer.
It's crazy to me how many of these great performers in wrestling are just gone now. Randy,
more all the time, yeah.
Randy, Sheik, you know. But
I believe he was 81.
Yeah. Crazy. He didn't look 81.
No.
I mean, and I'm not shitting on Sabu here. Sabu looks older than he did.
Sure.
But
I have no idea how old Sabu is.
Sabu is, I believe, 59.
Well, he's a young fella then.
You know, he doesn't look like it.
He looks older than me, though.
He's 50. I misaged him. He's 58.
Okay.
I was off by a year. What else was off by a year was Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw. What can we say about Monday Night Raw?
It was one of their best shows. It was one of their best draws of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget where they were. What town?
They were at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut. It's sort of a hometown crowd there.
And you could tell.
Yeah. So it's too bad we couldn't get the old Mean Street Posse, you know, coming in from the
weekly dated wrestling reference by Russ, number 1.
There you go. East Coast.
So Seth Rollins comes out and takes far less long to get to the ring this week than he did last week. Though I don't imagine he could have taken much longer.
Right. It's a little better.
And he comes out and he starts talking about the main event, him versus Priest. We'll get to that. And they have a little back and forth. And they eventually end up agreeing that the Judgment Day will be banned from ringside.
Yes.
And if you didn't already know Seth was winning,
well, then you haven't been paying attention to wrestling, have you?
Have you ever watched this show in your life?
Right.
I seriously question that if you didn't think Seth was just going to. I didn't
Right.
think it was going to be easy for him, and it certainly wasn't, but we'll get to that later. So, anyway, we have this Money in the Bank qualifier, Becky versus Sonya. This was one of Sonya Deville's better matches in recent years.
Yes.
And Becky Lynch played no small part in that.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty predictable that Becky was going to win.
Well, it's also pretty predictable that Zoe's going to interfere and cost her the briefcase in some capacity.
Oh, yeah, they got to do something like that. I mean, that sounds like a classic WWE storyline right there.
And then Becky will come out the next Monday on Raw and piss and moan, even though she's a babyface, about how she got screwed.
Yep.
Which, even though she did get screwed, she makes a point. But anyway,
Help get Zoe over some more. That'd be great,
we get a long recap package of the bloodline stuff from
Right.
last Friday.
There's so much to cover, it takes up the recaps take up a good chunk of either show because there's so many chapters to the soap opera.
And it is becoming soap opera-esque.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is the TV story.
It is a brilliant one, though.
Yeah, it's better than they've been in a long time.
We then get,
And other than those main storylines of that and Cody, then everything else, it seems like they're just trying to throw something together for Money in the Bank.
we then get my least favorite human being alive, potentially, Byron Saxton.
Yeah. Well, he's not the worst, is he?
Name someone worse.
How about that Marvez guy over on AEW?
Okay, I don't like Marvez either, but that's because they have Renee Paquette, who is 100 miles better.
Sure.
WWE, well, actually, they do have that. Her name is Kayla Braxton. Anyway.
Yeah.
So poor Byron, this poor sap who's been demoted from wrestler to commentator to backstage interviewer. This guy's just going right down the ladder.
Well, hopefully he's still making a check.
You've heard of going up the ladder. Byron is going down.
You just don't like the guy, do you?
Well, do you like
he'll
him?
do it for a while and then he'll do something else.
Let's make a prediction. Do you think he goes up the ladder or down next time?
Oh, he'll probably retire and do something else one of these days, maybe.
Maybe off television. That would please me.
Anyway, on radio. Anybody listen to radio anymore?
We have faces for radio, Russ. I'll tell you what.
Yep, exactly right. There you go.
Which makes you wonder, why do we do a video show? The answer, we don't know.
Right.
The same reason Byron Saxton still has a job. I don't know. So Zayn and Owens are doing this interview segment with old Saxy Poo.
Right. And then they get interrupted by our buddies.
Zayn basically does the nana nana boo boo, I knew that what was going to happen, you didn't thing. Which he's right. But, and then Kaiser and Vinci and Gunther cut this whole thing off, and they're like, would you guys shut up?
Right.
Like, we want your belts. And then Kevin Owens looks like he's about to have an ulcer, as he does multiple times throughout the week, and basically says, I want to fight, and I want to fight you, big man, and points at Gunther and starts walking to the ring, and angry Kevin Owens is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed it.
This was a very good match. They go about 15 minutes.
It was one of the high spots of the show.
Definitely. And Gunther wins with
Gunther prevailed.
Wins with a schoolboy, but you knew they were not going to beat Gunther in a non-title match on Raw.
Right.
I almost said SmackDown out of instinct. We got a Kathy Kelly interview segment with Matt Riddle, who says he is tired of Gunther cheating.
Yeah, we'll do something about it, Punk. And while you're doing it, please put some freaking clothes on. God damn it.
He's going to say it every week, folks.
You should damn right I am, you know? Nobody should be showing that much flash in the wrestling ring, except maybe some of the females.
Okay, Russ.
Never mind. I didn't say that. Take that part out. We'll get heat on that.
Russ, we get heat every single week. I don't know why you care anymore.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh, man. That Mariska Haggerty segment last week. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're never doing that again.
Well, now we're going to have to, because you said we'd never do it.
Oh.
I'm going to have to get a t-shirt with her on it.
I beg you not to. Anyway. Kaiser cuts Riddle off, tells him to watch his mouth and stop being such a baby. Probably will also inadvertently telling him to put some damn clothes on.
Yeah. And then we got a match that I didn't care nothing about, for me personally.
We got Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler against Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Man, I really like Caden and Katana.
Well,
but why the hell are they putting them in there with Ronda and Shayna right away?
I don't know. They're not giving. It seems to me like they're supposed to be the champions, but they're not taking on any really great teams yet. Of course, I know it's only been a week or so, but
they should have built Carter and Chance up before they did this.
Yeah, because the average viewer of Raw at this point, if they don't watch any of the other shows, they don't have any idea who the hell they are. And they just kind of drop them in there. And
they didn't get to do much.
Yeah.
They got their asses beat.
Right. And then beat up after they lost, probably. I think they did that.
Yes.
I remember right. They're always beating up people after the fact just because they're mean and sadistic and have a mean streak.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but Ronda Rousey is starting to put on muscle at like a worrying pace.
Well, I wouldn't want to fight her. She'd break my damn jaw, and I'd never be able to do a show again.
Well, that would be both a blessing and a curse, depending on who you talk to.
That's right, you son bitch.
Man, we are uncensored tonight. If you don't like me and Russ being just completely off the rail, you're on the wrong show. Watch my other show. Oh wait, that might not be up yet. We had Ricochet versus Nakamura.
Sure. Well, they had a little pep talk from a little 2 cents. Bronson Reed had to put his 2 cents worth in.
Right.
And,
well,
he's mad because he's gotten the Money in the Bank.
Though I guarantee you Bronson Reed will end up in the Money in the Bank somehow.
Yeah, well, they brought this to a no contest, and they're sure. I think they're going to hard you him in there somehow.
Well, the match will be better for it.
Oh, absolutely. I really think he's one of their best guys right now.
We get my least favorite segment of the week, Maxine Dupree with one of my favorite wrestlers on the planet, and Otis.
Yeah,
Uh, I honestly took no notes here.
yeah. It
I
didn't do
didn't
much
care.
anything.
Speaking of didn't care for the first 30 seconds at least, we get a very good segment with Miz, Cody.
Miss TV and Dominic.
Was this the best episode of Miz TV potentially ever?
Yeah, and I admire how much heat Dominic's getting for himself. It reminds me of, you notice the same thing with Don Callis over on AEW. They're getting drowned out almost by the intensity of the heat from the crowd. It's, I think which is excellent. They get that much heat, serious heat. Go away, heat. We hate your guts. We want you to die. None of this, he's a bad guy, but he's kind of cool. No, they want to see that kid get smashed and destroyed.
Well, what I thought was funny is Miz got cheered in this segment, like
Yeah.
pretty predominantly.
How'd he pull that off?
I don't know if they're gonna turn him babyface.
Well, he acts pretty much the same whichever he's doing. He's just
I thought he was better as a babyface, to be honest with you.
yeah.
Less annoying, less grating on my existence. Anyway,
Yeah.
so he welcomes his guest Cody Rhodes, who is so over, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This guy couldn't get over to save his life in AEW as a babyface.
No, it's just the wrong kind of crowd. But I'm glad he went there because the Cody we're getting now is a part of that process.
It's
I
the
mean,
same character, dude.
yeah,
It's the
it's
same guy.
different time, different place. You
No,
know,
no, it's not different time, different place. He was gone off our TV for like 78 days, I think it was.
right?
Not counting when he got hurt, like immediately after signing with WWE, but
Correct.
from the time that he left AEW and had that ladder match with Sammy, which I still maintain is one of Sammy Guevara's better matches,
Yeah,
and the time he debuted at Mania, it was like 78 days.
very quick turnaround, wasn't it?
And
He gets hurt right away.
one thing, well, he got hurt like 2 months later. One thing I've appreciated is the serious lack of Brandy Rhodes.
So far, I keep reading rumors online she's coming in, and I hope that's not true because I'm sure she could do a really good job doing something that's not on TV.
If he was a heel, I would be all for it.
Oh yeah, because they hate her more than they could ever hate him.
I
She's
don't I don't think this audience is capable of not doing the whoa. I think they'd have to change his music if they're going to turn him heel.
yeah.
And him ditching that music is not happening.
Not for a while, not until they quit making money off it.
Well,
It's not going to happen soon.
we got a very good back and forth with Cody and Dominic after Miz called him out,
Well, we find out that he's a deadbeat dad too.
and that Cody Rhodes knows that Rey Mysterio has made a ton of mistakes, horrible mistakes, and he knows that because he was looking at one. That was my favorite line of any show ever.
That was pretty good. That was a good one.
That popped me so big.
That was a very good segment overall.
I could not believe it when Cody said that. I was like, did they just let him say that?
Yeah.
Because Russ, 2 years ago, would he have been allowed to say that? No. No.
Right. That's pretty good.
My second favorite thing here was the comment about the prison tattoo. He's like, you've got a worse prison tattoo than I do.
I've seen some pretty bad ones with some friends of mine,
Then a match I completely forgot happened until I started looking at my notes. We had Zoe Stark versus Natalia.
Right. It was
I
very over quick.
I don't remember this match happening.
Maybe you had to turn your head to look at something. It was really quick.
It is very possible that I was distracted momentarily because my only notes here are Zoe versus Natalia is next. Zoe won.
Right. Yes, she did, which makes sense. I like
Uh,
her.
should Zoe win Money in the Bank? Yes. Will she? No. Uh, moving on.
Yes.
We get the greatest Paul Heyman mob boss segment I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So he basically made it sound like what we all know it is already, which is a soap opera.
Yeah.
He's like, this is the greatest family drama in the history of television, which, you know, I'm not sure how wrong he is at this
Yeah.
point, but he also said Jay would fall in line and acknowledge his tribal chief.
We'll see.
We'll talk about that. Um, we were supposed to get into Sheer versus Cedric and Shelton. Didn't
Yeah.
happen.
No contest. They're more
Which
interested in beating people up than winning matches, apparently.
which I can completely understand from their perspective because they aren't great in the ring, so I guess I get it.
Yeah.
None of the three of them are, and that includes old Jinder there.
You're not a huge fan of Mr. Mahal?
I stopped being a fan of Jinder when they put the world title on him.
Oh, is that what killed it for you?
Well, his existence doesn't help.
Oh, come on now. You're being way too hard on him. All right. I ever meet him, I'm going to tell him what you said about him. Give him your phone number.
No, do you know who I really have a fucking problem with? And this is a
Who?
total fucking sidetrack, but I'm gonna go on a fucking rant. You know who I really have a problem with? Fucking Santino Morella. Okay, this fucking prick.
Well, he's over on Impact, isn't he?
Okay, I'm sure Santino is a nice guy. I'm sure, and Cornette doesn't like him, but I don't give a fuck. I don't like Cornette. Uh,
Okay.
my problem with Santino is I don't know if you remember this, but in 2012, they put the U.S. title on him. Do you know how long he held that U.S. title?
I can't remember.
Almost a fucking year.
I remember it was way too long.
Santino,
He started doing the snake and all that shit then.
no, he was doing the snake before that.
He was doing the Cobra or whatever. I don't know what the hell he called it.
I believe it was called the Cobra. Anyway, it was knockoff Mr. Sacco, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Hashtag fuck Santino.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Very good.
though I never thought he was like a terrible comedy character. Uh Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest. This match was fucking great.
Yeah, it was a good match. Now here's the problem though. Judgment Day is supposed to not show up.
Old Finny Roo.
Yep. Old Finney, Mr. Balor, he
Right as it
shows
looked
up.
like right as it looked like, and they didn't have me fooled, but I'm sure they had some people fooled that maybe Damian Priest was actually about to, you know, win the world heavyweight title, which was
Right. No,
not going to happen.
that's not going to happen. You know darn well Seth's going to win. But I
Right.
liked that. I liked it when he looked at Finn Balor and basically, hey, I thought we had an understanding. What the hell are you doing out here? I don't need your help.
Uh, all that led to a super kick, couple of forearms to the back of the head, a
Right.
curb stomp, and Seth Rollins pumping his fist in victory.
Exactly. And then
After
we get a
that,
stare down between Finn Balor and as they're going off, the show's going off, they're kind of giving each other the eyeball.
give me this match in an Iron Man match. Let these two go an hour. Why not?
Yeah, like we talked about last week, WWE is the right place to do that kind of match.
I mean, AEW proved they could do it, though.
Yeah.
So let's talk about AEW for a second. Over the weekend, we had it announced that we're getting Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson. Yes, please.
That's coming up at the Forbidden War.
At Forbidden Door.
That's the
Russ,
25th.
Russ, do you realize how good that match is going to be?
Yeah. That's a Sunday night. Yeah, the 25th.
Russ, do you realize that that could be like one of the
Yeah.
greatest matches fucking ever?
Yeah, that's going to be good. And they announced another match coming up that I'm excited about too, but we'll get to
Osprey
that in a little
versus
bit.
Omega.
Yeah, and there was at least three announced, wasn't there? Then
Well,
there's the tag team or
that
the
tag
trio.
that trios match is for next.
Oh, that's right. That's for
next week. That's for next week.
That's for the new show, Collision. Is that it?
Yep. How do you want to do Collision? Let's have that conversation real quick. This is totally something we should do off camera, but we're gonna do
We
it
can
here.
just if we record Friday night, we'll just put it on next week's show. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works. So here's how the format is going to work now. We're going to start with Collision and we're going to end with Smackdown. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to go in that order. We're going to go Collision, Smackdown. So instead of starting with Raw, starting not next week, but the week after, we will be starting with Collision.
Yeah, week after.
If you're confused, so are we.
Coming up a week from Saturday.
I am so excited for Collision only because Jay White versus CM Punk just excites me in ways it should not. Those are two just, I don't care what you think about CM Punk, and I've certainly said plenty on this show.
I'm looking forward to that match. FTR.
Punk in a tag match is much better than Punk in a singles. Also, it has been announced now, and I just had this sent to me. Thanks, Devlin. I know you're watching this when it goes up. Devlin just sent me. They have confirmed now Tony Storm and Sky Blue is set for the women's title next Wednesday.
Oh, good. Good. I was hoping she would win.
That's a live result from Rampage, folks. Sky Blue will.
I'm very, very glad. She's a good wrestler. I like her.
Put the fucking belt on her, Tony, you coward.
She's pretty, Ma.
She is pretty, Ma.
Yeah.
Russ is right. So, Russ.
Hey, then we start off again like we do every show. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off with Orange and whoever.
I wanted to ask you. So,
yes.
How many of these Collision shows are you going to watch after they've already aired? Because I can tell you, I will be watching almost 100% of them later on and not on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It will be recorded.
It will be a DVR show.
Definitely.
Because the only show I don't just watch later is occasionally Dynamite and Smackdown. And the only reason I don't DVR Smackdown and watch it later is because we do this show right after Smackdown.
Yep. Same here.
Like if we recorded this show on, let's say, Saturdays, and that's just when we recorded it.
Yeah.
I'd probably watch Smackdown on Saturday morning.
Oh, sure. Yeah, me too.
Like, I just would. I just have no reason to watch these shows live except for Dynamite.
There you go.
Because WWE has so much filler crap, like just video packages that
I know. You could save a lot of time.
Half of their shows are just built-in commercials.
Yeah.
Like just here's what happened 7 months ago on SmackDown that you've seen 17 times, but here you go. let's talk about Dynamite. What I thought was a good show, not great.
Okay.
What I thought was a great match, however, was Orange Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland. This was, in every sense of the word, the best opening match this month.
Well, this for this week, yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're saying that a lot about Orange Cassidy, just consistently putting on the best opening match.
How many times in the last couple of months has he been the first match of the show? It's getting to be pretty regular. It's like the TV title in a way.
But I don't hate it.
Yeah.
You know,
Or Strickland's good. They had a pretty good. They must have went about 20 minutes.
Yep. And Cassidy wins. And
24 successful title defenses so far.
How do you feel about that for him?
Validates
him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it does.
That title needed
they don't keep it going too much longer, but you know, they're going to be Mogul Embassy attacks after the match, and then Darby Allin and Sting.
Who do you put that international title
them,
on?
Aren't they?
What?
Well, they'd be doing something with the three of them, with Darby and Sting and Orange Cassidy coming up.
I would assume so. But who do you put that belt on if it's not Cassidy? Because at this point, he's beat. They kind of got the Roman syndrome. He's kind of beat a lot of people.
Yeah.
My only idea would be, do they have somebody down the pipeline like they did with Statlander for Jade that they know they want to beat Orange?
Yeah. And he could take a vacation.
Because that was the thing, right? Is they knew who they wanted to beat Jade. They wanted it to be Statlander, so they waited.
Right.
And for better or for worse, they waited. And now we may or may not see Jade Cargill again in 2023. Either way, I'm fine with that.
She could take some time off. She's a ma, she's got kids.
Married to former Major League All-Star Brandon Phillips.
There you go. If she's coming back, I hope she takes some time to train more and get better in the ring even than she was before. There's room for improvement.
But
she's a very impressive physical specimen, but her matches aren't always stellar.
No, but
that's a nice way to put it, isn't it?
Yeah. But that opening match was stellar, and we moved on to a very good six-man tag between the Blackpool Combat Club and Chaos. This to help build up Okada versus Danielson.
Right. And we had Danielson on commentary, which is always entertaining.
Bryan Danielson is an American treasure.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I agree.
That man is a legend in my book at this point.
Yeah.
And deserves to be recognized as such.
I agree with you, man.
A lot going on in this six-man.
Oh yes,
there's lot. Chairs flying. There's crap going everywhere. And
right, and I guess when the best friends are with this Rocky Romero, then all of a sudden they're called Chaos.
Because that's the stable they're in Japan.
Okay.
That is led.
They don't ever explain any of that.
They did say that on commentary.
Well, then it must have been Excalibur that said it.
Yep.
Because I don't remember, and he jabbers so much, I just goes in one ear and out the other. Doesn't register.
Or you do what I do and watch half the show on mute. I mean, the only reason I don't watch Dynamite on mute specifically is because most of the crowd chants are really funny.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's be honest. We got a very good six-man here. Blackpool Combat Club win.
Right. You just submit Rocky.
I think Rocky Romero is fucking brilliant, and I wish he would be on TV more.
Yeah. Well, this good to see you a little bit.
Then we got what they are now referring to them as the Hung Bucks.
Yeah, really. Oh man, the Hung Bucks. Well,
Russ,
they're hung up, that's for sure.
Russ, hold
They
on.
got hang-ups. Yeah,
You know how much I like this show.
right.
You know how much I enjoy AEW.
Sure.
Some of the shit that this fucking company has come up with in the last 4 years.
Well, it looks like, and of course, the challenge was accepted.
They're gonna go to blood and guts with this.
Right.
We got a Kenny Omega Will Ospreay video package. I cannot fucking wait for that match.
That should be entertaining.
Those two, I don't know if you saw their match from New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom.
This is the IWGP title defense, correct?
US Heavyweight, yep. I don't know if you saw their first match.
Oh, yeah, US Heavyweight, yes.
I don't know if you saw their first match from Wrestle Kingdom.
No, I didn't.
Because it was on at like
Heard about it.
4 a.m. But that is so far one of my matches of the year.
Yeah.
And Osprey Omega 2 should. And by the way, we're going to get this a third time. They're going to do this again in London. I'm almost sure of it. But Omega won the first round. Osprey wins this one,
Right.
and they can blow it off into London. And then we get.
Wow, this was awesome. This was good. This whole segment was one of my favorite part of the show.
Then we get maybe the single greatest segment of the week.
Yeah, MJF and Adam Cole cutting promo on each other, and they were both just awesome.
MJF comes out, and Tony Schiavone says, and just like that, the bile in my throat has risen.
Yep.
Here, and they were like, here comes this dirtbag, this sleazeball.
Yes.
And MJF comes out, and he starts calling Colorado a bunch of druggies.
Right.
For smoking their brains out, of course. Marijuana is legal in Colorado.
It sure is.
And they just, this crowd is ripping into him. And right as it looks like MJF is going to leave. And what I like about AEW is when they do those false ends to these promo segments, you can almost kind of believe that that's the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do legitimately shorter promo segments, and they also do longer ones. So Cole's music hits, this place explodes, and here comes Adam Cole. And I was like, oh no, they're going to do this too early, and they're going to have MJF beat him. Because how many times now have I said Cole should beat MJF?
Yeah, but they could. I wouldn't be too shocked if they didn't have a clean end of the match, though. They'll keep it going.
Well, these two have just the greatest back and forth promo I've seen in a long time.
It was very entertaining.
I'm not gonna recap it all here because I want you to go watch it because I think it's just that effing good. I'm pretty sure AEW's got it on their YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
And just these two rip into each other, a lot of callbacks, a lot
of things that only the so-called smart fans would know more than anybody else. You know, the WWE references, Vince McMahon references, talking about his smaller physique, all kinds of interesting stuff.
But these two are so good. These two. And a lot of NXT
I had forgotten that I had forgotten that they had both wrestled in CZW. Oh, maybe that's because I try to forget as much CZW as I possibly can.
You ever
You
watched a
know,
CZW show?
oh yeah, I've watched plenty of them. You know,
All of one, probably. Uh,
I've watched a lot of matches, not so many pay-per-views. You know, but I'm not huge into the death metal or death metal. I love death metal. I'm not huge into the death match wrestling. That's what I
well,
meant to say.
well, MJF references crying into his money
Yeah, that's great.
because Cole made a mention of no one respecting him.
Right. And the crowd just like almost on cue, chanting no respect. MJF looked genuinely pissed off. Couldn't believe it was happening.
They mentioned Adam Cole being a manager to Keith Lee as was pitched for his main roster.
That was great.
And that's when Cole got really pissed.
Sure.
And Cole wanted to fight. And I don't think Adam Cole is pinning MJF in that non-title match next week.
No.
Because I think if Cole was getting a title match, they wouldn't be doing a non-title first.
Sure.
But
We'll see
could
where it
they
leads.
could they wrap this back around
They could.
into Cole MJF down the road?
Oh yeah. They sure could. It'd be great.
Anyway, this whole great thing ends and then we get a bad thing.
Is that
Uh,
when we got the
we got this stupid Hardy's
right?
segment.
Ethan Page.
Am I the only one that has no desire to see Matt or Jeff Hardy on TV ever again?
Yeah, I'm pretty much over him. Yeah.
I love those guys, specifically Matt. I think Matt is awesome. But
Well,
like, but
this
like,
ain't this ain't working anymore.
no. And I have all the respect in the world for Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely. And the guy he does his podcast with, John Alba, is legitimately one of my mentors in this business, and I got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
And John knows that. But Matt Hardy should not be on TV every week.
Yeah. It ain't helping.
And again, I love Matt Hardy. I genuinely really enjoy Matt Hardy. I think he's a brilliant mind in the business. But
Yeah, we're in agreement there.
I don't know. Anyway, we get this ridiculous Texas tornado tag match.
Yes, with the we got, what do they call it now? Jungle Hook versus the what's it called? The LFI.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that?
Los Faction and Conables.
Igno what?
Incronables.
Okay. Well, I just look at that, and what my brain tells me is ignorables, the ignorables. And
Well,
genuinely, yep, they're definitely ignorable in my opinion. So I
except
couldn't
for
ignore
Roosh.
them.
Except for Roosh,
Well,
who
Roosh
wasn't
is
there.
good, but he wasn't around this week.
I miss Andrade like a lot,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he's ever gonna come back.
But the Jungle Hook won by submission.
Yep. And
It was a very bloody match.
I thought this was a very crazy match.
Preston Vance, he was juicing like crazy.
I thought this was just a crazy, wild. It's kind of felt like a bunkhouse stampede.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they planned on it getting that bloody, but boy, he was juicing.
He was gushing.
Yes, he was.
And then
It
we get
reminded me of
the
old JBL in the bull rope match with Eddie.
Tony Khan teleprompter segment.
Where he announces the sixth man for
Oh,
Collision.
he's on a teleprompter for these, right?
Right.
He's on a teleprompter. Can you tell?
Yeah,
Did you notice that this week?
I kind of did. Yeah,
He's
he's
on a
like a
teleprompter.
politician. But we're gonna get CM Punk teaming with FTR. Should be good.
Against Switchblade, Juice, and Samoa Joseph.
Samoa Joe. Yes.
Uh, 5 of the better wrestlers in this company own CM Punk.
Right.
I think we need to stop shitting on CM Punk until he
So
actually
it'll
comes.
be a good match. It'll be fine. People will be glad to see him.
Russ, I think it's time to call a truce with CM Punk.
Sure. Yeah. If he wants to prove me wrong and prove I'm too cynical, that would be absolutely fantastic.
That would be ideal.
More power to him.
So for the next month, unless he does something insanely stupid,
Yeah.
we will not shit on CM Punk.
I just sent him right home and says, you can skip the press scrum there, CM Punk. Go ahead and go home early.
Go hang out with AJ Lee.
Yeah, go hang out with your beautiful wife and just leave the press scrum to calmer minds.
Like Brian Danielson, who is
there you go,
wonderful in those, but has only done 2 of them.
But hey, I really enjoyed this next segment also.
Takeshita versus Jobber.
Yeah, but what the best thing about it was the promo. Like I said, Don Callis is similar to Dominic Mysterio over there in WWE, that he gets such loud, vociferous hatred from the crowd. It's really working well for him.
But what's weird, right, is Callis doesn't have that one really loved person attached to him like Dom does with Rhea. Because people love Rhea and refuse to boo her.
Right.
But will boo Dominic until the end of time.
That's a huge difference right there, right?
They don't like booing Takeshita, but they'll do it.
Sure.
But they will boo Don Callis.
Yeah. Yeah. He had to remind us, like he always does, that it's all about him. He's the only victim. Everything the Elite got, everything Kenny Omega got is because of him. Ungrateful bastards have, neglected him and injured him.
Callis keeps referring to his family. I wonder
Right.
who else he's going to bring in here.
I don't know. That's it. Be interesting to see.
Osprey would make sense, but maybe this is all leading to Bullet Club Gold versus AEW.
That could be.
That's probably where this is
he
going.
Could be a part of that whole thing too. Just as long as he doesn't bring back the frickin' Truth Commission.
And change his name to Jackal.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably wouldn't age too well, would it?
We get a really stupid Christian Cage segment with Marvez.
Yeah, well, it seems like Marvez is just kind of a big goofball.
Renee had the week off.
Yes, she did.
They had to give Marvez a new contract.
Right, but you want to. I had forgotten all about Brock Anderson. He hasn't been on TV in what, a year and a half.
Well, he was on Dark and Dark Elevation, and then they canceled those.
Okay, yeah, well, it's right, but I almost never watched those.
I watched those about as frequently as you did.
And which then almost never, right?
I watched the first 2 of each.
Right.
And then we get a surprisingly underrated match. Anna Jay versus Chris Statlander. This match had no right being this good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Matt Menard continues to be the highlight of my life.
He's funny. He's the guy to bring down to the ring. He can talk. He can distract. He's I think he's really entertaining.
Am I crazy, or has Anna Jay put on a lot of muscle? Like Rhonda? Am I crazy,
Oh,
or is
yeah, she's
Anna,
pretty tough.
is she in a lot like stronger physique than she was when she first got there? Because I feel like, I don't
Could
know.
be. I didn't notice it, but you know her better than I do.
Well, they need to put her on TV more because she's very good in the ring.
Yes.
Uh, and then we got the main event, the match I think everyone has been waiting for.
Jay White versus Ricky Starks. This was okay, but there was part of it I didn't like, and you can probably guess what part I'm referring to.
Well, okay, I wasn't sure if this was just me or if this was a everybody issue. TBS had issues during this match for me, so I didn't see part of this.
Well, we had a little bit of interference from our buddies, the Guns, the ass
Well,
boys.
I saw that part.
Yeah,
So they're trying to get the Guns heat. I get that. And Jay White can get just about anybody over. So if they're going to put the Guns in Bullet Club Gold, I'm fine with that. I
yes.
don't think the Guns are as bad as I say they are sometimes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and they do seem like legitimately good dudes. Like I've seen interviews with them.
Well, the fact that they're so hated and reviled by us shows that they're doing a pretty good job of getting heat. They're they're supposed to get people to not like them.
And if they're going to put them in Bullet Club Gold to get them over, I'm fine with that because Jay White is so good on the mic. He's gotten so many people that had no right getting over. Like Jay White could get a broomstick over.
Yeah,
So I I really don't have a problem with this. Again, I don't like the interference in a main event either, but
right.
I understand it because if you're going to put the Guns in gold, that's fine. But do it. Pull the trigger. Don't wait. Um, Jay White wins.
Yes, good
This is not
match.
the end. Let's talk about Uncle Russ's Comic Talk. We're going to promote another show later, but I want to talk about Uncle Russ's Comic Talk first.
Yes, just had a episode dropped yesterday, featuring the Image Comics. Got Spawn #1 and a few other things for sale. But coming up next week, we're going to be having the interview I did last week with Ming Chen at the Des Moines Comic Convention. Ming Chen, who a lot of you know from Comic Book Men on AMC. And so please keep an eye out for that. Uncle Russ's Comic Talk, Lock
We do,
22 Productions on YouTube.
we do have an announcement at the end of the show, by the way, that I was waiting for confirmation on, but we do have it.
All right.
So we're going to save that for the end of the show because that is something we've talked about prior, but will be announced a little bit later on, and you've probably already seen it here on the channel. But we will come back to that. For right now, I do want to talk about Friday Night Smackdown on Fox.
Des Moines, Iowa, just less than an hour away from where I live.
If you live in the Minneapolis St. Paul area, it's Fox 9. I know a lot of places it's Channel 7, but I did not think this was an overly good episode of SmackDown. I thought this was a 2-segment show.
Yeah, it was kind of so-so.
For as good as Raw was, this SmackDown left a lot to be desired. The Bloodline segment to start the show was very good. We find out it's going to be Jey Uso versus Austin Theory in the main event. I had real hope that they were going to take the belt off Theory here. We'll get back to that. But Heyman basically says, "Are you in?" And Jay's like, "I'm going to get back to you on that."
Yeah.
We had Santos
And
Escobar
he's
versus
being set up because, Paul Heyman's a snake in the grass.
we had Escobar versus Ali. I thought this was probably the best match on the show.
Did not go the way I expected it to.
It went exactly how I thought it would. Santos Escobar needs a push, LWO as a whole seems like they're getting a
Yeah,
pretty.
well, it seems like most of the show was spent setting up Money in the Bank, so that was our first qualifier.
But would you rather this or would you rather they hobcob Money in the Bank together a week beforehand?
No, I like this. This is better.
Uh,
It gives us some build up.
so
We had what I thought was a god awful segment, just god awful. That's Alba and
that's not
Alba
until
Fire.
that's not until a minute here because we had the
Oh,
Sami
I'm
Zayn.
sorry, I skipped Sammy.
We had a good thing and then we had that.
That's right. I forgot Sammy and Jay backstage.
Sammy really trying to beg Jey Uso for life, love, and mercy, pretty much. Uh, I don't know how else to put it. Um, so he's trying to tell him, look, you knew this was going to happen because I told you it was going to happen.
Right,
Don't, I understand the appeal of this, but think about it before you do it. And
right.
then we get the god awful segment where Kayla Braxton butchers Alba Fire and Isla Dawn's names, and then they come out, and then Rousey and Baszler come out, and this whole segment gets butchered. Just
Oh,
horrible.
it was bad. It was bad.
The good part was the brawl at the end, and I think they might have even botched that. So I like Alba Fire.
And I can't stand to hear the bitches talk. That voice, man, that was annoying.
I like it.
What human being talks that way?
It's WWE. No human being talks that way.
It's just, it's. I don't understand who writes this stuff. I could pull better dialogue out of my colonoscopy.
Your rectum.
Exactly, my rectum.
So we're getting a tag team title unification match. Thank God.
Yeah.
I am just fine with that. We then get an Iron Sheik video package. I actually thought that video package was pretty good.
Very nice.
Sometimes they do some pretty shitty tribute packages, but I actually thought that one was pretty good. We had a throwaway Bailey versus Mia Yim
Right.
qualifying.
Or Mi Chin. With AJ Styles on commentary because
this was a throwaway to set up Cross
Mi
versus
Chin is in the what you call it, the
OC.
OC, thank you. The original club.
Which isn't too far from the truth because most of these guys, because all three guys
Right.
are from the original version of Bullet Club.
Right. But Bailey prevailed here.
Yes, and that sets up something for later in the show. And we also had Scarlett. Scarlett is going to wrestle next week.
Well, we'll see. It's been a while since we've seen her wrestle, isn't it? Quite a while.
Hasn't wrestled since they were back on the Indies.
Okay.
The first time.
We'll go into that one with low expectations then.
It's also a mixed tag match, so keep that in mind.
I've always has low expectations for those, always.
Then we get this god-awful fucking segment with Asuka. Oh my God.
I was not happy to see Charlotte come back. Just when I was starting to forget about her, she's got to pop back up and ruin the whole damn show.
Remember after WrestleMania, we were reading, Charlotte's going to be gone until SummerSlam. Okay,
I'm
bye.
just getting used to her being gone and really enjoying it.
Just getting used to missing you, and then you.
How can we miss you if you don't stay away much longer? Take a year off. Have some kids.
She did take a year off. Before she came back in December, she was gone for almost a year.
Yeah. But how many times have we gotten Asuka versus Charlotte? And then of course, they're hitting that Adam Pearce tells Bianca, I'll fix it. So we're probably going to get a three-way, right?
Well, a three-way is a whole hell of a lot better than Charlotte and Asuka again.
Yeah.
I would prefer Bianca and Charlotte to Asuka and Charlotte, but that's just me.
Well, I would prefer Asuka to prevail over both of them. Take both of them and rip off their hair extensions and shove them up their ass.
I would prefer Bianca to turn heel, and I think that's where they're going here. And
That'd
damn
be
it, if it
interesting.
takes Charlotte Flair coming back for Bianca to go heel, okay, I guess I'm willing to pay that price.
Right.
Wait, okay. So I'm gonna give you an idea here. I'm gonna offer you a trade. So Charlotte Flair comes back, but we get the Bianca heel turn. Deal?
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Charlotte Flair's on your TV every week, but Bianca turns heel.
Yeah,
You're okay with that?
sure.
Well,
On the Charlotte's getting her ass kicked, I'm fine.
but the new women's title is hideous.
Yeah.
That white and gold is just what is with them putting gold on all their belts now?
Gaudy, ostentatious, as they say.
Russ,
Yes, sir.
I I really try hard to like these shows, you know. Do you ever catch yourself being like, I'm really trying to enjoy this.
Sometimes they make it hard.
And they're really trying to fuck me out of that situation.
You know, they can be very difficult.
They're pretty good at forcing it in our ass, aren't they? Uh
Yeah.
wow. Oh god. This show's fucked. Anyway, Jey Uso backstage.
Right. Then we get another exchange
These were the highlight of the show.
between the master manipulator and Jay.
And Jay basically tells him, Paul, I don't know why you're trying so hard and so happy that I might come back to the bloodline. Because if I come back, you're not sticking around. If I'm in the
Yeah.
bloodline, you're not.
Right. That was great.
We then get Butch
Yes, more Money in the Bank qualifying.
versus Baron Corbin
Baron Corbin, right.
with Carmelo Hayes at ringside.
Yeah, apparently Baron Corbin, I don't watch NXT, but apparently he showed up at NXT and he's got some heat going with Carmelo Hayes and his buddies.
Yep. Carmelo Hayes is great, so I'm
That's
fine with
fine.
having him on my TV. Butch won.
Yes. I
Then
still
we
like
got
to call him Pete Dunne, though.
I call him Pete Dunne all the time. I think this is the first time I've called him Butch on this show, and we've been doing this for 6 months.
I like him. I like these British wrestlers. Well, one thing you can say for sure, you look at Butch and you can see they don't pick them for their looks, by God. They pick them because they're tough SOBs.
We had
Ain't no pretty boy.
We had Io Sky versus Shotzi. I legitimately did not see this match.
Okay. It was
I know who won.
You missed the entire one?
I missed it was 2 minutes, Russ.
Right. If you had to go pee, here's the thing. Interesting coincidence because right as that was about ready to come on, I had to go use the bathroom, and by the time I got back, it was over.
Same here. I came back. I came back, and Io won.
Right. So that means that we're going to have Io Sky and Bailey competing against each other at the Money in the Bank ladder match.
They're going to team up, and this all but assures the end of Damage Control is indeed nigh.
Yeah.
It is nigh.
I think so. And it looks like they've been going that way.
We get more segments, including a Kevin Owens ulcer.
Right.
Where we get a tag gauntlet announced.
And we also got a Grayson Waller promo
announced.
Yes.
We're going to get Grayson Waller and Charlotte Flair in the same ring next week. I might actually rip all my hair out.
Yeah.
I I should get a haircut before next week so I don't rip it out.
Oh, don't do that. No, no,
I like Grayson Waller, but Charlotte Flair's voice drives me up a fucking wall.
no. Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, we'll see.
We then get an underwhelmingly short match.
For all the hype they gave it, there wasn't much to deliver there, was there? Between Jey Uso and Austin Theory.
No. No, there was not.
No, they moved the storyline a couple notches ahead, but the match really wasn't anything to get excited about.
Theory's still the U.S. champion.
Right?
Bunch of interference. Jimmy accidentally kicked Jay's head off. They should have taken the belt off of Austin.
The bloodline are they're not going to be able to get back together. Oh, and they reminded us that isn't next week Roman will be back next week.
Yes.
So we'll get his reaction to all of this fall to Raw and goofiness that's been going on.
Well, I really hope, and I mean really hope, that Jay is going to be the one to be Roman at this point.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to happen, but man, would I like it.
Be fun.
Jay as Universal Champion would be cool. But Russ, favorite show of the week? Mine's Dynamite.
Yeah, I would say Dynamite, and the reason why would be what I thought was the best segment of the week was the
I thought it was the most consistent
promo
show.
war between Adam Cole and MJF.
I thought it was the most consistent show.
Yeah.
It didn't drop off a cliff at any point, which both Raw and SmackDown did. I mean, Raw didn't stay off the cliff, but it did drop off a slightly smaller cliff than normal. Least favorite show of the week, SmackDown.
Yeah, I'd have to say probably SmackDown.
That show dropped off a cliff.
Just really not a lot to get excited about.
I thought the first hour was fairly good, and then SmackDown just kind of.
At this point, my level of anticipation for Money in the Bank, looking forward to it, but I hope they build up a little bit more because at this point, I'm not like just dying to see it,
Forbidden Door, on the other hand?
Yes, that is a must see. Money in the Bank doesn't feel like a must see. We're going to see it, but it doesn't feel like, boy, if you miss it, you're really going to miss something amazing.
Forbidden Door feels special.
Well, it's supposed to because it's forbidden. Forbidden things are always more fun than things that you're allowed to have. It's like everything I love is illegal, immoral, and fattening.
Like, I think we both love sugar. It's terrible for us, but
bad for you. I gave up cigarettes, but if I get a terminal illness, I'm starting back up.
So if I see you smoking a cigarette, assume you're dying in 6 months.
Yeah, you just assume I'm on my way out, and I'm just going to smoke a few cartons on the way.
Just assume. Darn it, the clock's ticking, and I ain't got nothing left to do.
He wants to get to heaven. He wants to get there faster.
Well, Russ, we made the people wait. I suppose I should do the announcement thing that I was waiting for. Russ doesn't know about this, by the way. Well, he does, but he doesn't know the timing of it. So we announced after WrestleMania that I had a new show coming.
Right.
It was announced for May 7th or May 2nd. That didn't happen. That show is up right now, and you probably already saw it on the channel. It just went up as we're recording this a few minutes ago.
All right.
The first episode is up. That show's going to be up every Friday or Saturday, depending on a couple different things. It's going to be Fridays. Next week might be Saturday, but After that, it's going to be every Friday. I'm getting a bunch of those in the can. My first episode with Neil Gets Low is up right now. Gobo is going to be on next week, and then I'm debating who's going to be week 3, but
Excellent.
I'm getting a bunch of those recorded, so I hope you guys enjoy Shrewsworthy. It's finally out. We have been working so hard on that, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed for a month.
Bruiseworthy. We're not worthy, man. We're not worthy.
Russ will probably be on there at some point, but
all right.
Very different show from this one. I will say that, but it was designed that way. Because me doing 2 of the same show just makes no goddamn sense.
Maybe we can even talk about Mariska Hargitay some more.
You would enjoy that, wouldn't you, Russ?
Oh, hell yeah. Talk about her ma, too.
Why do I try?
I don't know, but it's fun.
I try to make things cool, and then we just end up laughing at each other anyway. Russ.
Yes, sir.
Another good show.
Yes. Any big exciting plans for the weekend?
I'm gonna watch a whole ton of soccer because we got the Champions League this weekend.
Right.
We got the CONCACAF Gold Cup coming up next week.
Right.
And then we got a whole bunch of stuff happening in the summer, including Lionel
Got
Messi.
the Belmont Stakes coming up tomorrow, and yes, I will be at the track, and I will be betting some money.
Wait, you're going all the way to Belmont?
No, I'm going to Des Moines, but I could bet on that by remote and then hang around for the live racing.
Well, at any rate, a whole bunch of stuff coming up this summer. I'm still trying to get a co-host for a soccer show because Lionel Messi's coming to America. And if you don't think that's going to spike interest in soccer in this country,
yeah,
statistically you're just wrong. That guy, wherever that guy goes, interest goes up. So it doesn't matter how old he is. I know he's 34, but interest is going to go up. But
yes,
go check out Shrewsworthy. Go check out Uncle Russ's Comic Talk. We will be back here next Sunday, right? Is that right? Yes. And then we'll be on
Friday.
Monday. Well, yeah, me and you will be back here Friday, but the show, they'll see it again next Sunday. Russ will be back Thursday for Comic Talk, and then I will be back here Friday with Gobo. Shrewsworthy, as always.
Check it out.
Schedule's getting kind of crazy, folks, and we might have more coming. I won't lie about that. There might be one more coming. So a lot of me coming up, a lot of Russ coming up, and 2 marks ain't going.
Gonna get this sick and tired of us.
And again, I might very well have one more coming. So you very well will get sick and tired of me, but we'll see where it goes.
All right.
Thanks to our producer, Damon Marvin. As I like to say, it's kind of become my new sign off. Damon, play my fucking music. Get us out of here.
Good night.